Now that you were explained of the parts and the principles behind in the traditional lesson planning and the types of lesson plans under the traditional lesson plan, in this presentation, you'll be able to know the other formats or frameworks of lesson planning. Just a recap of the previous videos regarding the traditional lesson plan format. We have these general parts of the traditional lesson plan, specifically in the detailed lesson plan format, starting with the objective, subject matter, learning activities, and under that, we have the teacher and the student activities. We have the daily routine, motivation, lesson proper, generalization, and application. And then we have also the evaluation and the assignment. And it could also be an extended activities if you are referring to the many other topics that have been discussed, for example, for a week. And so that this will comprise of activities that will sum up the total competencies that you would like the students to really develop out of those topics that you have discussed with them every day. Just always remember that whatever objectives that you will write there, you decide it according to the curriculum guide, and it should be stated in a smart set of statements. And you have to choose the specific, measurable, attainable, and result-oriented and time-bound activities that will also be appropriate for the evaluation, in which it will really manifest the mastery of the lesson for that day. So the objective and the evaluation should always be working hand in hand, reflective of what you really want the students to attain at the end of the period. What is the difference now between evaluation and assessment? When you say evaluation, you are testing the end result. You are trying to test what the students have learned at the end of the period, while assessment refers to how the students worked at the start, how they progress, and what happened right after their output, and what do they still need in order to be given appropriate activities in order to address whatever weaknesses as the result of the testing. So that is a continuous evaluation. That is what you call assessment. In lieu of the traditional lesson planning format, we have the 4A's. This is one of the trends in basic education lesson planning. So it has also the objectives, and then the 4A's stand with activity, the first A, analysis, abstraction and application, and assessment. So when you say activity, this is to activate the prior knowledge or the motivation, activating also the schema or the exposure of the students in the topic. And then the analysis is to access prior knowledge or activate new knowledge. So we have motivation here. Another is the generalization and consolidation and demonstration of the skill to show that the students were able to learn the concept within that period. Just make sure that in the generalization, all the concepts learned within that period will be coming from the students. The teacher will only facilitate the asking of questions as the students will provide their ideas, consolidate the ideas, and later on be able to produce one exact concept of the learned lesson. And then the assessment, or to assess what has been learned and what needs to be further developed. So the result here from testing will not be the end part, but will be the basis of what other activities, what other lessons, if possible, will be able to intensify the mastery of the lesson? Will there be needed exercises, or will there be needed other references, and so on? After 4A's, We have now 5 A's with the addition of the last A that stands for authentic activity. Now, on the right part of your screen, you can see the examples of activities that you can do for each part. For example, for the activity, you can also place there the motivation questions and the unlocking of difficulties. And then for analysis, there is this presentation of the lessons in which you will utilize the approaches, the methods, strategies, and techniques, and the questioning technique that will facilitate the discussion. And then for the abstraction or the generalization, just make sure that all those ideas will be coming from the students. Your job as a teacher is to consolidate those ideas to come up with the concept, okay, that they learn for that day. And then let them demonstrate or show the skills. It may be by group or by individual. For the day's testing of what they have learned, we have the assessment, and that will always be paper and pencil test. Now, after few meetings that you were able to handle the class and teaching the sets of competencies, now it's time for them to produce the outcomes-based outputs. There are activities that will be provided based on meaningful situations. The products or the performance are expected to be produced in which they have to solve the problems. So they will use the grasps for developing and arriving at the output. So this will be another story in which we're going to design example of activities under the task-based using the grasp format. In comparison between the traditional lesson plan and the 5 A's, you can notice that there are parts in the new lesson plan format that are seen even in the traditional lesson plan. This is what we're talking about, that in the teaching and learning process, the principles behind in the presentation of the lesson will always be the same. That, but the format may vary, the framework may vary, but the parts of how you will deliver will always be the same, following the principle of letting the students get to be motivated and later on explore and then prove that they have learned the lesson through testing and producing something that will show the mastery of the lesson. In your screen, you can find there on the right side and the left side your traditional lesson plan on the left side and the new format on the right side. There is also another format under the idea exemplar. All you have to do is visit our channel and be able to find the idea exemplar presentation and explanation for the new trend in lesson planning. Again, do not forget to visit our channel so that you can be able to view also and listen to the presentation about a new lesson plan format, another trend in lesson planning, that's the use of idea exemplar. Thank you for watching and learning with us. Hit like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more updates. Don't forget to share.